welcome back. Okay, you guys, it's still Saturday, still door knocking. Here we go. I am one of those evil, scummy landlords that raises rent. Yes, you heard me right. I am one of those landlords that raises rent on people because why not? Just kidding. Okay, you guys, we are talking about raising rents. So, the last video was just take action, right? But let's say you've already done that. Let's say you have a rental, right? So this is like, real estate investing 201 class. Here we go. So, should you raise rents? Absolutely every chance that you can. And I don't say this just to take advantage of people, not just because you can, but because you really should. And there's a few reasons. One, if you are in a rent-controlled area, and like Oregon, right, like me, so maybe this is a little bit different in Montana or Texas or Florida or whatever, right? But I think the underlying principle is kind of the same. But here, especially in Oregon, where we have rent control, I can only, this upcoming year, as of 2025, I can only raise the rent a maximum of 10% of what they're currently already paying. So, for instance, if somebody's paying $1,188, which one of my tenants was, they're paying $1,100 and $1,188, so $1,188. They're paying that for a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath townhouse. So there's nobody above or below them. There's a row of 4 townhouses. That's a 4-plex that I own. And 2 of the inherited tenants are way below market value. Market value, and I can attest to this, for a fully renovated unit, because there is one of those there. I got that 4-plex delivered to me vacant. So I fully renovated it. I rented it out the first time for $1,500, and I got a lot of applications. Unfortunately, those people broke their lease. They ended up buying a house, which is awesome. Congrats. So what happened after that is I had to, clean it and re-rent it. So when I cleaned it and re-rented it, no major renovations, because I did that 8 months ago when they broke their lease, I was able to rent this property for $1,600. So a fully remodeled version of what they're living in right now rents for $1,600. They are only paying $1,188. Is their property fully remodeled? No. Could I fully remodel it while they're in there? Probably not. Very difficult, right? Painting the cabinets, very, very fumic, right? Painting the walls, very fumic. Got to rip up all the carpet and replace it with luxury vinyl plank. Very, very noisy. You're making a lot of cuts. You're using the chop saw. You're hammering those things together. So, ideally not a place where somebody wants to live while a major construction is happening. So even if I wanted to provide them with newer flooring and newer paint and newer appliances and newer light fixtures or whatever, right? It's very difficult to do that while somebody's living there. So, since they're way below market value and it's extremely difficult and inconvenient for me to provide them with new things, I'm raising their rent. And if they leave, that's fine, because then I get to renovate the unit and make more money. If they stay, that's fine. That's money I don't have to spend to renovate that unit. But if they did leave, it would do me a favor, right? Because they're currently paying $1,100, I could make $1,600, maybe $15, depending on, right? Like if I was trying to rent it in December, right? So I think raising the rent is okay. I really do. Yes, it suck for the tenant, 100%. But a 10% increase, let me put it to you guys this way. A 10% increase, which is the maximum allowed under the new government rule that they did 2 years ago, is only $118. And I know I say only $118. Do I know all of their other bills have gone up? like utilities and stuff that I don't provide, right? Because I pay for the trash, we bill back the water, they pay for electricity. Has their electricity gone up? Sure. Has mine? Yes. I'm sure their gas has gone up. Has mine gone up? Yes. Has their food bill gone up? Yes. Has mine? Yes. So, like, I understand prices have gone up. I get it, right? But this is an investment, right? This is an investment for you, and it's an investment for me. And for our investments to go up in value, there's only two things we can do: raise rents and force appreciation by renovation, right? Those are the only two things we can do. And we have no control over appreciation. We don't, right? Depending on, what other fourplexes or what other single families rent for in your area, you don't really have control. Like, you can make your box a nicer box, but at some point, if you put gold marble tile flooring down, somebody's just not going to pay you what it's worth to do that, right? Like, if you're putting gold toilets in a 3-bed, 2-bath that's in an area where houses don't sell for more than $300,000 or $200,000 or $500,000, putting a gold toilet in there doesn't help you. Maybe it'll sell faster if you don't overprice it, which most people will, because they think, oh, I added gold toilets and this, that, and the other, so it should be worth more. Should be, yes, but people won't pay you more because it's just not that neighborhood for you to get more. So that's another video. Don't over flip, don't over renovate. Anyways, so raising rents is really the only way we can improve our asset. And it's not even that big of a deal, you guys. I'm getting $118 from 2 people. I don't even think that really puts a dent in, like, my opportunity cost, right? It took me a lot of money to buy that property. To be specific, $153,000 to buy that property. I had to put 20% down because it's a 4-unit building. And this was before they came out with the 5% down rule, which, to be completely honest, I don't think I would have done 5%, but I wouldn't have done 20%, because if I would have only put 5% down, it wouldn't have cash flowed, and I don't like that. I want my asset to pay for itself. Anyways, so yeah, I had to do it the hard way. The first fourplex was an FHA loan, 10% down. Second fourplex, the harder way, 20% down, even when you own or occupy. So I got a better interest rate. The down payment was still brutal. And now, is that their fault? No, it's not. It's not their fault that I had to put 20% down to buy that property. Is it their fault that the last guy that I bought it from didn't keep the rents at market value, and somebody, not just me, somebody at some point would have bought that property and done exactly what I'm doing? If it's not me, it would have been State Street or BlackRock or some other investor, right? Somebody would have gone in there and, one, just kicked everybody out and fully remodeled it and then got top market rents immediately, which I could have done, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to kick people out, right? I don't want to do that to people. I would prefer that if they're going to move, they do it on their own accord, right? I don't want to mess up people's homes, right? So by raising rent, I may be a terrible guy. I'm sure the last thing they want is to pay another $118 to live in the same place that they're currently living. But the problem is if they left today and I cleaned it up and did nothing other than clean it really well, I could probably get $1,300 or $1,400. So with this rent increase, they are, let's see, whatever $1,188 plus 118 is, it's like $1,300. So they're still at the very bottom of what I could get for a fully cleaned unit of what they're living in, right? They're at the very bottom. So even if I raise the rent from 13 to 14, it's still reasonable compared to everywhere else. In fact, one of the other properties that is, again, not remodeled, in very similar shape, but these people were paying $1,299 when I bought it. Now they're paying $1,350, and they're okay with it. They're paying $1,350. There's a big truck here. It's going to make noise and stuff. So, there's people there paying $1,350. So paying $1,300 isn't that bad of a deal. At some point, would they prefer it to be remodeled? Absolutely. And at some point, what's going to happen is here's what I'm going to do next. When somebody moves out, I'm going to remodel it, and I'm going to ask the other 2 people living there, would you like to move into a fully remodeled unit and pay market rates, or would you, with the understanding that I'm going to continue to raise rents, prefer to stay here and keep your rent a little bit lower for a little bit longer? Now, you know, am I going to raise the rent to $1,600 in a non-renovated unit? No, I'm not going to do that. You know, but they do need to pay fair market value for what they have at the very least. And you know what? Maybe at some point I will have to ask somebody to leave. Just say, hey, look, or maybe I'll talk to them, you know, like sit down person to person and say, hey, look, I have two options here. I can ask you guys to leave because I don't think it's fair to raise your guys' rent beyond what it currently is for what you have. Or if you guys really want to stay here and you don't want to move, I could raise your rent like half, right? So, you know, and I'll tell them, I was like, you can get a better deal somewhere else. I'm just trying to keep up with inflation. I'm trying to keep up with property taxes. I'm trying to keep up with maintenance and materials and, right, like all these things. Like when they leave, I'm gonna have to renovate that property, and it's gonna be, again, a lot of like $15,000 out of my pocket, and that's if I do a lot of the work myself, right? So at some point, you know, this asset has to continue to produce. And I actually did a temporary rate buy down on this property because I wanted the cash flow. So what happened to me this month, you guys, is my temporary rate of 2.9% just bumped up to 3.9%. So, and again, not the tenant's fault, not blaming them, right? I'm taking responsibility. I chose to do that because I wanted the cash flow as a buffer when I first bought the property, because I put a lot of money down, right? So I needed the cash flow to kind of help me get through that next 12 months. So here we are 12 months later. Thank you, Facebook, for reminding me it's been 12 months. Now my interest rate has jumped, right? So instead of 2.9%, it's 3.9%. And my payment went up around $378. So even with raising both of their rents, I am actually now more cash flow negative than I was when I bought the building. Not the tenant's fault, and I totally expected that. That is exactly what I knew was going to happen. I have prepared for that. That's fine. But I need to raise the rents because I'm now paying another $378 for a property that isn't paying me anymore. So I need to raise the rents. And again, this is something, and sorry if this is like kind of like a feels like I'm attacking you guys. I'm not. I'm just trying to like justify it in the mind of like of a renter, right? Like, hey, this is why landlords do this to you guys. It's not because we hate you guys. It's not because we're like money grubbing. It's not, and some people are, sure, you know, but like these are legitimate reasons, right? Like handymen to come fix stuff that breaks, to replace appliances that break, right? All these things that I'm responsible for as a landlord, those things cost me money. And I know it's your home, but it's my property. So I need to take care of it for you guys. And to do that, it costs me money. And I need to make sure that I provide you guys with a habitable, nice place to live. And that costs me money. So I need to be reimbursed. And that is by raising rents. And hopefully over time, the asset appreciates in value. I hope it does. And that was my gamble. When I put $153,000 online, I was gambling that it would go up in value over time. And I understood that I'm going to be responsible for maintaining this property and taking care of the tenants while that takes place over time. Anyways, I just want to end the video there. I don't want to, beat anybody up or anything. If you guys hate greedy landlords like me, feel free to say it in the comments. If you guys think I missed anything, or if you think I'm being too ambitious with raising the price 10%, let me know. Either way, I look forward to hearing from you guys in the comments below. Bye.